I am going to take you quickly through the setup for the election sign exercise, which is an assignment designed, excuse me, to put together the few things we've talked about this quarter. The elements of design, which are our building blocks, our building materials, the principles of design, which is the way we organize things um, in a way that is best looking and harmonious, easy on the eyes, and typography, which is uh, is one of the elements of design, but we kind of separated it out because it's a little bit different. Um, I wanted to give it special consideration. So the election sign is it's a way to put them all together. All right. So as you may have noticed in the last few months, there was a lot of yard signs hanging around because there was an election. And just when you thought it was over, which was May 19th, we have a long way to go because November is the big one. All right. So here is the assignment. Lots of information, which you can read for yourself, or we'll do it in class. I think the first thing is good to look at some examples. All right. You've got some design elements, you've got names, you've got the position they're running for, you've got a sort of a sub heading or a tagline, we should call it. McLeod Skinner, Secretary of State, zero corporate dollars. Loretta Smith, got the groovy little green rose logo. I'm actually not so crazy about it. Simple color schemes, right? White border, last name huge, first name a different font. And you can just see these are very simple. Ted Wheeler, got a nice little rounded rectangle. But you can see everything is pretty much, we call this center alignment. Everything would line up right down the middle. Let me see what else we got here. This is more of like a sticker design, but his signs around town, I think, were square, which is odd. I don't think it really matters, but usually they're this kind of golden mean, we call it, this proportion, like a movie screen, televisions, a lot of things are in that, and Wheeler's square. But anyway, kind of interesting, real simple. Few fonts, like we look at this font, that this is one font, right? This kind of script font. Then we got what we call a slab serif for the word Ted. And we have Wheeler. So, right, the first three words are all different fonts. But then this, I think, is the same as Portland, the word for. Mayor, I think, is the same font as Ted. And www.tedwheeler.com, I think, is the same font as Wheeler, but it's just not all bold and it's not all caps. I can't be sure, but basically I think there's three fonts and they just created some variety by switching up the font style. All right, so here are the things that you need for your sign. You need to come up with a position for yourself. What is it going to be? Mayor or Lord of the Hamburgers, or come up with one of your own. And then try to think about who you want to sell yourself to. Not literally, but who are you going to try to get to vote for you? Kind of like your typical Portland coffee shop liberals or red, white, and blue suburbanites, or make it up. All right. But a target audience does go a long way to deciding what style you want to be in. tone, color, fonts. So what I'm talking about, tone, what kind of feeling do you want to create? Does it want to be like those sort of earthy brown, mocha, sage green? That's what I picture of like a coffee shop in Portland. Um, or do you want to be more traditional American red, white, and blue political? It's totally up to you. And then you plan what your sign will say. Got to have a name, whether it's yours or a made up one. Got to have the position you're running for. And then you can have a slogan or tagline, right? For America. Um, I don't know. You know what I'm talking about. Um, then you can add a logo or let's go to Mingus Maps. He's got it all. This guy was cooking. Not only does he sound like a professor from Hogwarts, but he's got not one, but two lightning bolts and this nice little outline of a rose, which is a lot of work for some people. I mean, you could probably find a little PNG file online of a rose, and you're welcome to do that. But these just add a little interest. He's got a logo and he's got like this additional design element. See, this to me is real classic Portland. These colors. It looks like a logo for one of our soccer teams or something. So he's trying to dial into a real traditional kind of, I would think, liberal Portland. But what do I know? Nothing. All right. Background color, right? So you got to start thinking about that and then putting it all together. You got to arrange your elements. I've sketched mine out in a process we call blocking, where I just sort of informally, without a lot of detail, just kind of laid it out on paper with pencil. And I have attached here the crap design, which I sort of resist using because it says crap. But it's a good thing to think about. Contrast, making elements different increases understanding. All right. So making elements different. Ted is different than Wheeler. Ted Wheeler is different than For Mayor. For Mayor is blocked out in a background color. All right. So Ted Wheeler stands out. It does not have this design element by it. It does not have a color background. It is basically two different tones of the same color and blocked out huge with a white background. All right. That is contrast. Repetition, repeat visual elements to create strong unity. Repeating visual elements, a lightning bolt, similar fonts. Right? You don't want to be all over the map. Mingus map. You want to be somewhat consistent in your style. Alignment. Nothing should be placed arbitrarily. Placement illustrates relationships between elements. All of these are super simple. They're all aligned central. All right. Let's see what Mr. Maps did. He has a, what do we call that type of alignment? Well, it's around a circle. But still, everything is kind of on the axis. These things are perfectly aligned, the lightning bolts. That is alignment, and it's important. Proximity, related items should be placed together. Let's see if there's a good example of that. Well, this tagline, our progressive voice. And for city council, those are similar fonts and they're grouped together. Loretta and Smith is grouped together. We have a space between those two chunks of text. That is an example of proximity. Things that are related are grouped together and separated from each other so that you can communicate what you want to communicate. Right? For and mayor, proximity. This weird color, this kind of brown blah color, that unifies these two words. All right. This design element helps establish this Portland's as a unique group of design elements too. All right. Okay. So I think we're ready to start. So you've got plenty of examples. You've got your crap design reference. And so I'm going to go into Google Slides. Let me see. Yes, Google Apps. Is it going to let me? Oh, I already started. Look at that. Okay, the first thing you want to do, let me see. I am going to move all this off to the side. Governor. I'm running for governor. All right. And this stuff too. You notice my background is not moving. And that is because I made it a background color. Okay. Let's move that stuff out of the way. I'm still not used to using these apps. If we go, can I make that smaller? Okay. So you want to start with a blank Google slide. If you want to change the dimensions, you can go to page setup, which we've done before. I'm going to leave it 16:9. All right, so it's basically 16 wide, 9 tall. That would be the dimensions. We can change it to whatever we want. What's standard look like? Yeah, it looks pretty good too. We go with that. But you can make it square, whatever you want. Okay, so the next thing that I would do, I've already chosen a background color here, which you can do, let me see, in slide, change background, or you could insert a shape there, but I don't recommend doing a background shape because it becomes just another element you have to contend with. You know, these things are Google Slides. You just sort of pile elements on top of each other, and the more you have, the more sort of difficult they are to manage. But the first thing I actually did before doing anything was I pulled out guides. All right, so I'm going to go, these are pretty much centered. Let me see, so if that's is a 7.5. So that feels pretty good. It's snapping there. So I pulled one out sort of as close as I can get to halfway between top and bottom, halfway between left and right. And then I'm going to pull out some guides for what I call my design safe. And I'm just going to pull them out to 1/4 inch on every side. You see it's snapping right to that 1/4 inch. So this is not exact down here. I don't know where they come up with 7.26, but I'm just going to go with it. And what this does, this establishes a space around the edge, and it's called kind of a design safe. All right. So anything inside of this mark is safe. So when you print, you don't want anything up to the edge, because in printing's inexact and things can get clipped. So you don't want to have any important information, any design elements, your phone number, your name. You don't want anything to cross this line. And in more sophisticated page setups, we could even have like a full bleed line, but we're not going to get into that today. So we'll assume the very edge of this is our cut line. All right. So if we send this to a printer, which we're not, but this would be the dimension that gets cut, right? The actual edge of this blue-gray background. And then this 1/4 inch border inside is our sort of, we'll call it a design line, our safety. Okay. So that's the first step. Set up your guides. And now you're set to start dropping in design elements. I liked, was it Ted Wheeler had that little background thing? So I went into, let me see if I can pull this out. So I'll probably have to adjust it a little bit because I changed the size of my, so I wanted to hug right inside my borders. And I'll show you how I made this. All right. In fact, I could probably delete that one and do a new one. All right, so to get a border, I'm going to do insert shape, go to shapes, and then the second one in here next to the rectangle is a rounded rectangle. All right. And then if I just click and drag, there we go. And you can see it fills it for me, which I don't want. I want the outline without the fill. All right, and that's easy to edit. So I can go to the fill color and make it transparent. And now it's gone. But now I don't see anything else. And then the border color, I'm going to make like a light gray. And I'm going to make it, if you go to border weight, 4 pixels. I want it wider than that. 8 pixels. Start there. You know what? I'm going 12. Why not? It's Monday. Okay. All right. So then I've got a nice white border, and it does dip beyond that line, but I think we'll be okay. The typical printing safety is about 1/8 of an inch. We're going quarter. So I think we're safe. It's fine. And this is not really an essential element, although it is. It's essential. I'm going to go ahead and call it essential because why would I have it if it wasn't essential, right? Okay, and then we want to add your name, all right? This is looking awfully lonely, this space. And so I've got my name here, Curley. Oop, I don't want to do that. So I want to arrange, so you see what happened here? This box that I inserted, the shape, it's empty only in appearance, but it is, if I click here, it is on top of my name. All right. So I can't access my name without moving this whole thing, which is a pain. So I need to rearrange the top by going to arrange and order, and I'm going to send it backward. All right, let's see if that worked. Nope, so I have to send it even further backwards. I don't want to send, I guess I could send it all the way to the back actually, since our background is not actually a shape, it's just a color. All right, so there you see my name, and I can show you how I did that. So I'm going to delete that. There's 2 ways to insert text that I know of. You can do a text box, which is okay, but we're not going to do that. We're going to do insert word art, and I'm going to all caps my name minus the colon, and there you go. All right, and the reason I'm using word art is because I have the ability to edit this in ways that the text box doesn't. So I can give it, let me see, I can give it any old color. All right, and I can give it a border. I'm going to use the same color that I use for my outline, and I'm going to beef up the border color, and I'm going to change my font. And this, so this, you should take some time when you do this. What did I have there? Montserrat, and bold. I like Montserrat. I don't know why. It's nice. Okay, and then let me align it. It should snap align. So this looks okay for now, right? We're just blocking in, all right? And I'm not going to keep you here forever. And then the word for, which is okay. That's lobster font. Lobster font is a funny name for a font, and it's okay. I think for this, it's a nice, we call it script, or I do anyway. I don't know if that's officially, but it looks like it's handwritten. All right, and I've got a star that I've already made. That would be a design element. And let me just make sure that that's on top, because I may want to option click drag. That duplicates it. Looks like that star got squished. I don't really like that look. I'm gonna unsquish it. Let me see. And then while it's selected, I click option and then click and drag. And that red line aligns it for me. Right, so now I've got my alignment. These things are all related. And they're got some what we call proximity. All right. It's looking okay. And then this is where I kind of stopped. I started with this governor, and let me go arrange order. I want to bring this to the front. All right. And we're aligned in the center. And it looks okay. The one thing that bugs me about this is that Curley and Governor are weighted the same. Their outlines are the same. So I'm going to try this maybe without an outline. And then these colors are starting to be a little bit too close. The color scheme in general is kind of mushy. So that would be something I would go back and work on independently. And I have room for some sort of tagline under here, which I haven't written yet. So I'm going to go ahead and say insert word art and unwritten tagline. All right, and I'm just going to drop it down there as a placeholder and make it much smaller. So I think with word art, you don't have to change the font size. You can just grab the handles here and make them smaller. All right, unwritten tagline. It could be for Oregon. That is so boring. And then maybe make it. See, Arial doesn't have any. Well, it does. Okay, so we can do some italicize. Just messing with the font style. Align it pretty close. And then I will look at it and I'll stare for a while. And I'll start thinking of ways to maybe make it better. Like this could be bigger. It's my name after all. Whoa. Whoa, Curly. Too big. All right. Getting better. Yeah. It's okay. All right. So I'm about done. So I really just wanted to run you through how to set up the file, how to insert shapes, right? The star, I can show you how to do that. That was insert shape, and where was it? Right there. It was in callouts. All right. Shape, callouts. I don't know what a callout is supposed to be, but there you go. So the text, I did not use a text box. I used word art, just like we did last week. There's my star. And I inserted a couple stars. This could be anything. You can find your own image. This is very simple, very plain. I wouldn't call this done. But I have all my elements and I'm ready to start messing with it. I was going to say the word massaging because that's really what I would do. I would just start moving things around ever so slightly, changing colors, tweaking. Um, I want to talk about one thing. Coming up with color schemes is often hard. We need some red in here, is really what I'm thinking. Somewhere, I'll figure it out. But let's see here. Where was I? Election sign exercise. Coming up with a color scheme is going to be one of the hardest parts. Um, so what I've done in the past is I will take a picture from nature and use that. So this was something I took last fall, and I was able to pick 6 really nice colors. These 2 greens, I just picked them from the leaf and the shadow. These 2 reds came from the interior and exterior of these pink flowers. And then the blue, I believe, came from this little berry shapes in the sky. And from there, this would be a perfect color scheme for a website, a yard sign, whatever. So you can take a picture with your phone, upload it to your drive, and then use that for reference, because these colors, nature is really good at pairing colors together. Okay. All right. So that's probably way longer than I need it to be, but you have now the script for blocking in your own political yard sign. All right. So I'm going to stop recording and I will talk to you soon.